have practiced yet, but from your perspective, what's the newcomers add to the mix so far?
Well, they're great kids, number one. I really love who they are. I love their character. They work extremely hard. I think it's been a eye-opening experience for them. The speed of the game is the biggest, one of the biggest adjustments those young kids have to make, and I think they've gotten they've had a real eye-opening experience, especially those guards. When you've got the guards that we have, those four seniors, Mo, Roe, Blair, and Tori, and then you throw Jordan in the mix, who's now in her, third year. The speed at which they practice or go through our skill development phase that we get 2 hours a week, I mean, you're talking about some kids that are real pros. And it's one thing to work out in a gym or go shoot in a gym or have somebody work you out, but until you get in a gym with those kids, those four seniors, and see the speed of the game up close and in person, and what a work ethic, how hard those kids work. Again, kids that have been in our program 4 years, it's a real reality check. And so I think that's been probably, if you ask those freshmen, what's it been like? I think that's been the biggest experience for them, eye-opening. Because they see it every day. They see those, these three up here, and you throw a row in there, and Jazz. Jazz has been spectacular. She's really been good. Her leadership has been outstanding. So you have 6 guards right there that are all veterans, been to the wars, juniors or seniors. It's a good place to start, y'all, with your team. When you got that kind of veteran leadership at the guard spot, it's hard to win in this league without great guard play. And I feel really good about our guard play right now.
Morgan was asked about her presence. Can that necessarily be louder, or how can that be different this year compared to previous years?
Certainly you want to hear her voice out on the floor, running plays, communicating with her team. You also want to hear encouraging her teammates when things are tough this time of year, when we're at 6 a.m.s in conditioning and people are gasping for air and falling out, whatever. You want to hear her voice. Victoria's been really good. Jazz has been really good at the voice piece of leading kids, picking them up, encouraging them, and so I think those kids that I mentioned all understand the importance. But look, my staff and I, we've been preaching it now for a while to all these kids. We don't care who it is. It doesn't just fall on Morgan's shoulders. It's going to take more than one person to do it, and so I've been real pleased with Tori, Jazz, Blair. I think they've all come in with a real good voice, and again, being demanding of their teammates.
Vic, I know you got a new contract. How much does that mean for the school to reinvest into your program?
Well, it means a lot. It's kind of funny, I don't know how all that kind of. My wife told me on Saturday night, we were going to bed, and she said, well, it's all over social media about your contract. And I was thinking, well, they're only 6 months late. This happened back in late April. But I'm thrilled. I appreciate so much our administration and their confidence in me and my staff. There's a real commitment to women's basketball here at Mississippi State. My staff is I consider them the best in the business, and we all feel a real sense of obligation to this great university because they are committed to us in a big way. As I said the other day, this is a women's basketball school, and being 7th in the country in attendance, you put it all together, it's really special. So it means a lot to me. I'm very appreciative to Coach Cohen and Dr. Keenum for their trust and confidence in me and with their program.
Hey Vic, correct me if I'm wrong, but there wasn't a strength coach dedicated to solely women's basketball before last year, if I remember that
Correct.
correctly. With that position coming open again, was there ever sort of a conversation about, hey, do we want to have just this specific person for women's hoops again, or was it just to the point now where it's a given that you're going to have that position for your program?
Oh, no, I think it's here to stay. We want, I mean, it's such a demanding, you don't really realize how demanding it is just to work with the men's team, just to work with the women's team. Things are so scientific now. It's not just picking up a barbell and lifting, it's understanding. Look, y'all, there's machines in that room. I got no clue. They don't look anything like the weight room that I grew up in, or that y'all grew up in, by the way. And so it really takes somebody that's, I think, up to date, tech savvy. But you know, our strength coach deals with what we're eating. You know, pays close attention to how much we're drinking, what we're drinking, and so it's really a necessary position. I mean, what we get done in that room is vital to our program. For me personally, with our program, and so there's a lot gets. You know, certainly you're trying to develop bigger, faster, stronger athletes, but the toughness factor that you get out of there, again, that comes from who's down there, what the demand is, the accountability is. Okay, we got 10 reps. If somebody's sneaking away with 8, I want to know about it. That's not acceptable. You know, we don't cut corners here at Mississippi State. That's not what we built our program on. So it's really important.
You talk about toughness. On paper, every year your teams have gotten more talented. If you at least look at the recruiting rankings this year, same way. But losing somebody like Dominique Dillingham and some of those teams from last year, how do you replace that? Who is able to replace that? Because that's not a talent thing.
Yeah, no, it's. I'm anxious to kind of see the answer to that myself. You know, hard to replace a kid like Dominique. Just the things that she brought, the intangibles that she brought, and the pride that she took in bringing those intangibles that don't get a lot of notoriety. You know, Bree and Katera, 2 4-year starters at the same position, good friends, never let the competition factor get in their way of being good friends. Chinwei, her development, the job Johnny did with her over her 4 years here, and the 3 years that she was able to play for us, you know, that's probably the one position I'm concerned about our depth at a little bit. We had depth there last year, 6'5", 6'7", y'all. That's probably what allowed us to go toe-to-toe with Baylor, you know, and have a chance in that ball game. So I'm anxious to see, you know, what that looks like. Who's going to step up and be that toughness kid that is so unselfish and worried about points. They're worried about defending. Okay, coach, who's their best wing player? I got them. You know, those are the things. Okay, I'm going to be a great help defender. I'll take charges. Blair's my best help defender by far. But when Blair's not on the floor, who's it going to be? And so, you know, I'm anxious to see, is it going to be Iggy? Iggy, y'all, looks really good right now. She's winning everything in everything we do, from conditioning to one-on-one drills in our skill development. I mean, she's really looking good, and she wants to win in everything. She's very competitive. So, you know, I'm hopeful that, you know, she can maybe provide a little bit of that. You know, Breamber had that toughness in high school, but Breamber's been idle since the middle of April. She's just now been cleared 2 weeks ago for full practice and contact due to her surgery on her shoulder. So it's going to take her a while. She's obviously behind because she hasn't done anything. But she was that kid that was on the floor a lot and getting loose balls and things like that. So Blair always provides that a little bit, and but the 4 position is going to be interesting. We've got a good competition going there right now with Chloe and Amisha, but I think I can always play Iggy there if I want to go small, which I think Iggy plays big for her size. And boy, talk about athletic. and can really be a mismatch, especially running the floor. So I think we've got some options there. I'm excited to kind of see what that looks like.
What can keep Dom around as a GA? What can she bring and provide in that role?
Well, she's going to be a student assistant, and that's going to allow her to really be involved with everything we're doing. And you know, she has instant credibility with our players. She has instant credibility with me. So I'm not going to hinder her in the least, and I think our kids will listen, and she'll have a great insight to what you should be looking for, you know, a player should be looking for if you're in this position, or so I think she's going to bring a lot to the table. I'm really excited. She's on our staff, and she's doing a great job right now.
Is the plan to have Jordan be eligible after the exams for the first semester?
You know, I don't know that we have that plan yet. We're going to kind of, I think we'll kind of cross that road when we get to it.
I know you've got a trip planned to Houston. What's that trip gonna mean for you?
Well, it's really, I'm really excited about being able to help the people of Winnie, Texas. Winnie is a community much like the communities here in this great state. It's a blue collar, hard working, small businesses, farming community. About 3,100 people live there. But there's also two other towns of Anahuac and Hampshire Finette that are 15, 20 minutes from there with about the same size. And I've got some friends in that area that have just absolutely been devastated. Y'all, there's so much water there right now. The cattle are all up on I-10, and there's nothing for them to eat. And so we've talked about, I've talked to a couple of friends of mine who have hay, who can take them hay. The problem, y'all, right now is that area isn't going to get anything from the west because they got to come through Houston. Houston's got its own problems. So everything coming to that area is going to come through Beaumont. It's 30 miles, located about 30 miles from Beaumont, west of Beaumont on I-10 toward Houston. So anything coming from there is either going to come from Louisiana or it's going to come from us. My initial call was, what do you need? What can I do to help? And a friend of mine told me these kids have nothing. They're fixing to start school and they got nothing. And so my first thought was, okay, let's get K through 12 some clothes. And that's what he asked me to do. And so that's what we've gone about doing. We've had so many things donated and clothing wise for K through 12 kids. And so that was the first thing. I talked to him last Friday and he said, Coach, I know you can't help me with this, but we need hay. You know, these animals have nothing to eat. They're all up on the highway. And so I made a couple phone calls and got a couple guys that can take some hay to them. I've had cash donations now that are going to be close to $5,000, which I'm really didn't start out to get, but have had a couple Bulldogs give me a check for $1,000. Just great people, good givers. You know, their heart goes out just like all of ours does. And so when we go, probably going to be Friday, we're going to have a truckload full of clothes for those kids. And again, just any way we can, you know, any way I can help, we're going to help. And so just, it's going to be, you know, it's going to be, I know I'm going to be heartbroken. I've got a good friend that lost everything. And, you know, you're talking about people that flooded, that wouldn't even think about having flood insurance. They've never had water in that part of the country like that ever. And now all of a sudden they got nothing because of the flood. I mean, I-10 was literally a river. It's hard for me to fathom that because I've driven that road so much, but it was. So I'm really appreciative to our people in this community who have come together to support a community that really they don't know anything about, but that's what Bulldogs do, and they're wanting to help, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that.
You said we're going to go Friday. Who's going to go?
Probably Holly and I. We're going to get in a U-Haul and take everything down there and drop it off.
Chloe's adjustment to the quote-unquote American game? I know she's played international at a really high level, but things are probably a little bit different.
Hey, she looks good. I mean, she runs the floor well. She's in great shape. You know, you all are gonna find she's a really skilled basketball player. Good looking shot, big range, tough. Plays with her, you know, she's a redhead and plays like her hair's on fire. I love it. And she brings, you know, brings a lot to the table for being such a young kid. And when I say young, she's 19. So she's really not young. She's just the only thing young about her, I guess, is her classification, which is a freshman. She's played a lot of competitive basketball, y'all, and it shows. So her and Amisha gonna really provide two really different looks at 4, which I think is gonna benefit us. And you know, I've been really excited with some of the things that Amisha's been doing. So, but Chloe. You know, she's going to end up being one of our fan favorites because everybody just wants to hear her talk. You know, everybody loved Dominique. Look, Dominique was in the Junction, y'all, on Saturday collecting goods. She probably signed more autographs, took more pictures than anybody on campus that day. And she don't even play her anymore. And all of our kids, but Chloe, I think, is going to be that kid that because she's going to be a toughness kid. You know, we teach her how to be a good help defender. She'll be a kid that'll stick her nose in there. She's not afraid of contact. And so, and she's a good rebounder, you know, which is something we need at that position as well. So really excited about her. I think she's going to be really going to add a lot to our program. And again, her and Amisha are really going to, I think, complement each other well with what they're going to, you know, they're just two different kinds of players. So really going to be good for us.